Well, before we get started, Rayne, I want to point out to our listeners that Taebyn is not here, and that's why
he is not.
That's why the name of this episode is Taebyn is a Tool, because Taebyn is actually at a Tool concert this evening, and so we have to record without him. And in true pup fashion, he didn't let us know until yesterday. So
it slipped his little puppy brain.
Yes, it did. It did. So I was digging through my closet the other day, and for some reason I found a lot of back issues of Chiropractic Monthly.
God, that's a bad one.
Right, and I thought that was really cool. I was also wondering, if Mary is the mother of Jesus and Jesus is the Lamb of God, does that mean that Mary had a little lamb?
Yes. That rocks.
Right. And our friend was visiting last week, and they have a dog. I know you have dog problems right now. The dog was hungry, and I asked if they had seen the dog bowl, and they answered, no, I didn't even know he could.
No.
But enough of this jocularity. Let's roll the theme music.
Jocularity!
For those of you that don't know, that's a quote from MASH. Mm-hmm. All right. Hello, greetings, and salutations, and Moobarkfluff to all the creatures in the Podiverse. Thank you for putting us in your ear holes for a little while. I am Barely Normal, and you are tuned into Barely Furcasting featuring Taebyn, but without Taebyn. As I said before, he's at a concert with his hubby, head banging it out. So rock on, Taebyn, rock on. And so sitting in the co-host chair once again is our good associate producer, Rayne Raccoon. Welcome, Rayne. I was going to ask you how you've been lately, but based on what we talked about before we started recording, I know that you have not been great. So tell our listeners why you have not been great lately.
So I've been watching my ex's puppy. Well, it's new to him. He's 6 months old.
And it's a bio puppy.
Yes, bio puppy. German Shepherd and Lab mix, we think. He is the hard-headedest, smooth-brained, most destructive puppy I have ever laid eyes on, and I can't be shed of him soon enough.
And at some point after tonight's recording, you will be shedding yourself of this dog.
Yes.
And then are the fumigators coming in shortly after, like tomorrow?
I cleaned Saturday, and it looks like I didn't do anything to the house.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a bomb exploded in here.
Well, I know it was on your Twitch feed Friday, and you couldn't hear the dog at all. So did you muzzle him and shut him in the room somewhere?
I shut him in the room, and he quieted down eventually. Just like tonight. He's quiet now.
Okay.
Ish.
Every
once in a while I hear him whimper, but
it's okay.
I've also installed extra padding in my recording room, and that seems to be helping a little bit.
Extra padding.
I've got moving blankets tacked up to the wall.
Oh, wow.
That suits the other side.
There you go.
And over the door.
There you go. All right. Well, we don't have any pass today unless you have any pass today.
I do not, because I was not able to join last week's recording because of said pup.
Yes.
And so I have no pass today. So we have no pass.
All right. So with the obscure quotes, now 2 weeks ago we did some quotes.
Mm-hmm.
But I always like to give people at least 2 weeks to give answers. So what were the answers to the ones that we did 2 weeks ago?
Okay, so 2 weeks ago, our obscure media quotes. First one was, we changed it to media because I figured maybe we can draw a bigger group of furries to try and figure these out.
Yes.
Because some people don't watch movies. Some furs don't watch movies.
True, very true.
So I figured one music, one movie, one literature quote would kind of hit all the bases.
Mm-hmm.
So, here's our first one, and it's a movie quote, and it's, there are two kinds of evil. There's the evil that exists as an existential force that threatens the well-being of the tribe. Survival depends on understanding and awareness and fear of physical threat to our daily lives. The other kind of evil lives inside of us, like a sickness or an infection. It's more dangerous. And that one is from Laurie Strode, and it is Halloween Ends 2022, which was, I think, the last Halloween movie. I don't think they're doing another one.
Okay.
They've killed him so many times now. I can't imagine them doing another one, but we'll see.
Okay. Yeah.
The next one's a movie quote, and these are all Halloween themed, by the way.
Okay.
Because it's October and, spoopy season. We got to be spoopy.
Yes.
So, music quote is, I am the one hiding under your bed, teeth ground sharp and eyes glowing red. I am the one hiding under your stairs, fingers like snakes and spiders in my hair. You got any clue?
No, I don't.
This is Halloween from The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Oh, yes. That track. As soon as you said it, it clicked in my head, and I can hear the music playing in my head now.
Without the music, it's much harder.
Yeah.
All right, and our book quote is, no man sees all, but you'll see more than some men see in a lifetime. And that is from The Dark Tower, The Drawing of the Three.
Oh,
which
wow.
is a Stephen King novel.
Yeah, I read that like 25 years ago, so remembering.
Yeah, I'm rereading it, so
okay.
It was kind of fresh in my mind.
Okay.
And then this week's new quotes
are
coming up. The first one is a movie quote, and also still spoopy themes because it's still
close to
Halloween season.
Yeah.
Yes. So the first one's movie quote. The ship brought me back. I told you she won't let me leave. She won't let anyone leave. Did you really think you could destroy this ship? She's defied space and time. She's been to a place you couldn't possibly imagine. And now it's time to go back. Any clue?
Well, no, it's not. It's not a space odyssey.
Nope.
Is it Aliens?
Nope.
Nope. All right. Well,
I guess you have to wait till next week to find out.
2 weeks to find out. Yes.
Or 2 weeks, yes. So the next one is our music one, and it's Under a Headstone Sister, I'm dying to see you, my friend. Back in the old cemetery, I'm dying to see you, my friend.
So this is a quote from Tool?
No, it's not, but it is a quote from one of Taebyn's favorite bands.
Oh, okay. All right.
Hopefully he'll get it.
Okay.
All right. And then our literature quote is, I was benevolent and good. Misery made me a fiend. Make me happy, and I shall again be virtuous.
Is that from Bram Stoker's Dracula?
Ooh, very close, but not quite it.
Is it from Frankenstein? Mary Shelley's Frankenstein?
Oh, you got it. Yes.
All right. Ding, ding, ding for Bearly getting it right on the second try.
Yes.
Didn't even have to phone a friend.
Well, they're so those books were written so closely together,
Yeah.
It's not a surprising turn that you would get it after I said close.
But you said close. I'm like, okay, what other book was like that? Mary Shelley's Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, she was a neat woman.
Yes. And of course, everybody knows this now, but Frankenstein was the doctor, not the monster. That was Frankenstein's monster. I don't think the monster had a name.
No, he was just the monster.
He was a conglomeration of lots of things.
Yes.
He had a brain from Abby Normal.
No, that was the monster from
Young Frankenstein.
Young Frankenstein.
That's right.
Yes. Or Young Frankenstein.
Frankenstein, yes.
Frankenstein.
Roll in the
Roll in the hay.
Werewolf, their wolf, castle.
Their castle. Oh, that's the best movie. And for a little bit of movie trivia for those of you who don't know, that Young Frankenstein was shot with the leftover film from the Boris Karloff Frankenstein movie.
Really?
Mel
Leftover film?
Brooks. Yeah, so when you order film for shooting a 35 millimeter picture, you always order more than you need because you don't want different film stock.
Okay.
So it makes the picture look different. Film stock that comes from different runs looks different, and so they didn't have color grading back then because it was a black and white.
Right. Yeah. Makes sense.
And so there was a lot of leftover unused film. And Mel Brooks found out about it and wanted Young Frankenstein to have the same look as the original movie.
Really?
And so he shot the whole movie on on unused film from the Frankenstein movie.
Wow, I didn't think it would last that long. It must have been.
Yeah, apparently it lasts quite a while.
It must have been kept in hermetically sealed, temperature controlled, because
you have to, because the cellulose and everything that they put the film on has to be kept temperature controlled, and they don't throw away unused film.
Yeah,
because you might use it.
Yeah, I know that because I have when I was a wee child, long before the days of podcasting, and long before the days of the interwebs. My buddy Jim and I, when we were 9, 10, 11 years old, we would go buy the 99-cent cassettes at the store, and we would record us doing all sorts of weird, goofy things. I've included a couple on the podcast in the past.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah. But of all the tapes that I found, I was able to recover maybe a dozen of the 5 dozen tapes that were in this box, because I'd take it out and just like dust would fall out of the cassette. It's like, oh, look, the cellulose broke down.
Yeah. Well, and magnetic cassette tape, unlike its larger cousins for like 1-inch reel recorders or half-inch reel recorders, those have carbon on the backs of the tape to prevent it from sticking. Cassette tapes were never meant to be archival, so they don't have any carbon backing on the back of the tape, and so they tend to, after a while, start to stick together. So your old used cassette tapes just probably don't want to let them sit too much longer if you've got a bunch of them sitting in a basement somewhere, because they're probably going to be unplayable.
Yeah. So, although some of the 8-tracks that I found, if I found an 8-track player, I'd probably still play.
8-track uses half-inch tape from reel-to-reel machines, so it's carbon backed. Yeah, that's one of the reasons 8-tracks seem to live forever.
Yeah,
as long as you don't get them unspooled, they'll last you almost a lifetime, because they're actually archival.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Welcome to Tape Talk here on BFFT.
This raccoon's a bit of an AV nerd.
A bit. Just a bit.
Yeah.
Just a bit. All right. Well, let's move along to That's Just Stupid or News of the Odd.
Ooh.
And they're not really stupid or odd. They're just kind of fun, the 2 stories that I found.
Oh, nice.
So the first story is about a 6-foot 3-inch steer in Oregon. Our hometown, our home state. The Oregon Rescue might be the world's tallest. An Oregon animal sanctuary said a Holstein steer named Romeo might be the tallest in the world at 6 feet 3 inches tall. That's a big steer. That's a lot of hamburgers. That's a lot of hamburgers on the hoof. The Welcome Home Animal Sanctuary in Creswell, Oregon, said they decided to seek a Guinness Book of World Records title for Romeo after hearing about the current record holder, a 6-foot 1-inch Massachusetts steer named Tommy. Misty Moore, the founder and operator of the sanctuary, said 6-year-old Romeo has lived at the facility since he was rescued from a veal crate at a dairy at the age of 10 days old. So,
wow.
Yes, so he was rescued when he was 10 days old. He was rescued from a lady who went to the dairy and saw all the calves from the crates and was able to secure the release of 5 of them. And once she got them home from the dairy, she contacted the sanctuary and they were able to take Romeo and Milo, another steer. Moore said the sanctuary was in the process of getting Romeo officially recognized as the world's tallest steer. I don't know if you heard that.
Wow.
That revved engine in the background.
Yeah.
Somebody's
drag racing in front of your house.
Yes. So, stay tuned. We'll keep track of that story to let you know if the steer actually is certified as the tallest steer in the world. Another story comes from Great Britain, and this is about a cat whose purr breaks the world record. It is a 54.59 decibel purr.
Oh my goodness.
That's a loud purr. A British family's 14-year-old cat earned a Guinness Book of World Record when her ear-splitting purr was measured at 54.59% decibels. Bella, a cat owned by Huntington Cambridgeshire resident. Oh, okay, that's
Or
the name.
Cambridgeshire.
Cambridgeshire, yes. Resident Nicole Spink was awarded the record for the loudest purr by a domestic cat living, quote unquote, after her sounds were measured by.
Dead cats don't purr.
Right, dead cats don't purr. This cat don't purr. After her sounds were measured by the Guinness World Records adjudicator working with an acoustic engineer. So I watched the story, and it's very cute. The news media had this story. They showed the certifier walking up, and he's got a pamphlet or a folder that it says Guinness Book of World Records. I am the authenticator, and the decibel meter had to be 1 meter from the cat and 1 meter from the floor in a totally soundproof room. So they are hanging up all those blankets all around the room, and they brought this cat in, and wow, that purr is loud. That purr is very loud. Yeah.
54 decibels is just below vacuum cleaner level.
Yeah. That's a loud purr, and the owner said she purrs all the time, and whenever she's sitting on their lap and they're watching TV, they have to turn the TV volume up because they can't hear the TV over her purrs. So,
my pug is that way, except it's with his snores. Like when he starts snoring, if you're trying to watch TV and he's laying on you, forget it.
Well, maybe you should contact World Record Books.
Maybe I should.
It's the loudest snore of a pug.
I doubt it, but he can snore pretty loud. Yeah, maybe.
You know what? Go get a decibel meter and just record him once and see what it does.
I so happen to have one.
There you go. I know. As an AV nerd, you probably do have a decibel meter.
I've got multiples of them.
Well, just set it up 1 meter away and 1 meter from the floor. There you go. All right. Okay, that's all the news of the strange and the odd and the weird. So we're going to get into the media section. Oh, thank you for putting in for Taebyn like that.
Yes. Well, if I've got to sit in for him, I get to do the silly stuff he does.
Okay. All right. So episodes ago, I talked about the show The Boys on Amazon and how over the top it was, how great it was, how wonderful it was, how violent it was. And they have a spin-off from The Boys on Amazon now called Gen V. Have you seen this?
I have not.
So this show takes place in the same world as The Boys.
Right.
They took the violence and the sexuality of The Boys not to the next level, not to the level after that, not to the level after that, but at least 3 levels up as far as
my goodness,
sex and violence. It's just
so it goes to 11.
It goes to 12.
Oh my goodness. Well, because that's one more than 11.
That's one more than 11. Yeah. Oh my God. And it's done well, but if you are in the least bit queasy, this is not the show for you.
Yeah, when they exploded that one dude's head in like the first season of The Boys, that was almost a little much for me. And I actually kind of like scary stuff and gory stuff, but that was a little over the top. Yeah,
this is so if any listeners are queasy, push pause right now and forward ahead. But I'm going to tell you about one scene where so it takes place at a college for soups, and soups are supers in this world. And because they all took this drug called Gen V, and V, and so this is the Gen V, and they're having a quote unquote fight battle, like they're 2 guys are going up against each other to see who's better at fighting.
Oh yeah, kind of like a sparring match.
It's like a sparring match. Well, it concludes with the winner ripping the arms off of this guy. And so you see blood and stuff go all over. And they're like, hey, you did great, guy. And of course, his superpower is that he can reattach his limbs. So they put his arms up next to the shoulders and they all just mesh back together again.
Ooh.
And it's very well done graphically, but it is very gross. So, and then there's a lot of sex scenes. And I'll tell you about one of them after we're done recording, because it is not PG-13 at all. So
I wouldn't think so.
Yeah. So, how about you? Besides babysitting the Exy puppy,
Yeah, well, like I said, babysitting the world's biggest, dumbest, worst behaved puppy for my ex hasn't left me much time for anything.
Mm-hmm.
Tried to watch a movie and he chose something he shouldn't be. Try to read, he's messing with my psycho cat. My house is pretty much demolished. I did manage some YouTube shorts, but that's about it because I can't do anything. The only recreation I've gotten is at work during my lunchtime. I've been reading The Dark Tower.
Okay. Without a dog or a cat being messing with you. Yes.
And at least luckily my coworkers are trained well enough to know, don't come near me at lunchtime when I'm reading. I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to see you. I don't want to even like notice you. Just please let me read.
Well, it's funny because you're at this time in your life, this is the only time you actually look forward to going to work.
Yes, right now work is my happy place, and I don't even like my job.
Yeah.
Although I do like it this week because I'm actually painting systems this week because we've got some systems that were badly corroded and needed repainted. So I'm actually getting to do something that I love to do that I learned to do when I was a young lad.
Well, very cool. Very cool.
Yes.
All right. I know you're not going to do what Taebyn does, but it's time for Furries in the News.
Oh, I can't do that.
Okay.
I can't do that. I'm just say Furries in the News.
There you
Bark.
Bark.
Yes.
All right. Our first story comes to us from Edwardsville, Illinois. It's in the Edwardsville the paper University of Edwardsville, and the title is "Furries Around Campus Share Tales of Personal Growth Through the Community."
Nice.
So the article reads, spending time around the MUC and Quad, students may have noticed a big increase in colorful, mascot-like figures roaming the area, many of whom have stories of overcoming judgment to share. According to sophomore computer engineering major and furry Seth Lithisak, furries are simply fans of anthropomorphic, I know, Lithisak and anthropomorphic characters, or animals with human characteristics. Anthropomorphic characters in pop culture include Mickey Mouse and Sonic the Hedgehog. According to Lithisak, just about every furry has their own made-up character. Many dub these fursonas, which we all know, right?
Yeah.
These characters...
I've got one of those.
You do. I have one, too.
Yes.
These characters are often meant to represent the person in an anthropomorphic animal form. So he says it's like having an online avatar in real life. The mythical creatures, such as centaurs or even talking dogs, the concept of giving animals human-like properties is not a new concept. So it goes on to say about how they found great joy and happiness in the community, how furry conventions are a great part of their lives, and they're very well accepted at this campus. So good for them.
Yeah, I mean, I feel the same way.
Yeah.
I kind of like being a furry.
Yeah. So I said our first story, but that's our only story. So
I
think I was going to put the cat story in Furries in the News, and I put it in News of the Strange instead. So
we can edit that out later.
Yeah. You can fix it in post.
Fix it in post.
Fix it in post. Yes. Let's fix it in post. All right. That takes listeners. This is probably going to be a short episode because we don't have to rein in Taebyn giving us random things. So
and we don't have to rein in Rayne because he's super tired.
Super tired. Yep. So. All right, so our upcoming events in the weekend that this drops, the 26th and the 29th of October, is Furpocalypse in Stamford, Connecticut. Also, that same weekend, 27th through the 29th, is Aquatifur, or as we wanted to call it last week, the Wisconsin Cheesy Furry Festival. So, because it takes place in Wisconsin.
Cheese.
Yeah, that's what Taebyn came up with, calling it Cheese Fest. And then October 30th through November 2nd, is Biggest Little Fur Con in Reno, Nevada, which I will be at with my puppies for the Puppy Podcast. Any listeners that hasn't
with the good kind of puppies, not the kind of puppy I have.
Right. Any of our listeners that are interested in puppy play and you want to hear a podcast about puppy play and all things sexual and consensual sexual kinks, tune into Off Leash. It's a great little fun podcast.
It is.
But it is not for anyone under the age of 18.
Yes.
Keep that in mind.
It's definitely an adult-only podcast.
Definitely an adult-only podcast, yes. The weekend of November 1st through the 5th is Furry Blacklight in France. And then PawCon takes place that same weekend, the 3rd through the 5th, in San Jose. Now, PawCon is a puppy con. It is only puppies and leather kink. So that's what PawCon is. PawCon.
I thought it might be, but I did not know because I've read PawCon the couple of episodes back when you were gone.
Right. Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know that one, but I think I want to say it's probably a puppy con.
It definitely is a puppy con. Yes.
Yeah.
November 10th through the 12th is Halloween in Richmond, British Columbia, Canada. Halloween. November 10th through the 12th in Hamilton, Ohio is the World Wild Fur Camp. And then, of course, November 30th through December 3rd.
My birthday
Is December 3rd is your birthday?
No, November 30th.
Oh, November 30th. Well, happy birthday, Rayne.
Thank you.
35, 6 days, 40 days, something like that. Okay. Yeah. Is the Midwest Fur Fest in Rosemont, Illinois. And some year I'm going to get to that. Some year I'm going to get to the Midwest Fur Fest.
Yeah, it's one that's on my list as well.
Yeah, it's one of the bigger ones. I want to get there. I want to get to that one. I want to get to Denver. I want to get to Anthrocon, but I'd have to give up doing my fireworks show to go to Anthrocon. And I wouldn't mind going to Furry Weekend Atlanta sometime. So
I think I'd also like to maybe go to Confuzzled in the UK.
Confuzzled. Ooh, that'd be fun.
Yes. Yeah.
All right.
Even though they ousted my favorite Chap Hop rapper.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh.
Poor Professor Elemental kind of got he like a lot of things, he got canceled because he accidentally liked something without reading it.
Oh. Yeah, that could be.
That's also the reason why he wouldn't come on our show, because he did not. He's trying to lay low and stay away from the furry fandom for a little while, so that maybe things chill out.
Yeah,
and they realize that he wasn't
when all the haters leave, and he'll be back. He'll be back.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, because he's a real nice guy.
All right. Well, normally about this time, Taebyn would tell us a story or do math, and since he's not here, I thought I would read a Grimm's fairy tale on the podcast. And
are you reading a sanitized Grimm's fairy tale, or are you reading like a real Grimm's fairy tale?
Tales of the Brothers Grimm. So these are reprints.
Not the sanitized Disney versions.
No.
Yay! I love these. These are really good stories.
Okay, and I'm sometimes I'm not sure what the moral of the story is, so we'll have to chat about it after the story. This is called The Wonderful Musician. There was once a wonderful musician who was going all alone through a forest thinking of all manner of things, and when nothing was left for him to think about, he said to himself, "Time is beginning to pass heavily with me here in the forest. I'll call hither someone to keep me company." Let's call hither. Not Heather.
I don't know Hither.
I don't know Hither, yeah.
Oh, I have a cousin Heather.
Okay. Then he took his fiddle from his back and played so that it echoed throughout the trees. It was not long before a wolf came trotting up through the thicket towards him. "Ah, here's a wolf coming. I have no desire for him," said the musician. But the wolf came nearer and said to him, "Ah, dear musician, how beautifully you play. I would like to learn that too." "It is soon learned," the musician replied. "You have only to do all that I bid of you." "O musician," said the wolf, "I will obey you as a scholar obeys his master." Ooh, what an obedient little wolf.
Yeah.
The musician bade him follow him, and when they had gone a little ways together, they came to an old oak tree which was hollow and cleft in the middle. Cleft. "Look," said the musician, "if you will learn to fiddle, put your forepaws into this crack." Okay. Okay, let's just move along. The wolf obeyed.
Well, did he mean put all four paws or just his front paws?
His forepaws, the F-O-R-E, so the front paws.
Okay,
so
all right.
Forepaws, not back paws. Okay.
English is so weird.
Right? "Look," said the musician, "if you will learn to I said that. The wolf obeyed, but the musician quickly picked up a stone and with one blow wedged his paws so far that he was forced to stay there as a prisoner." That wasn't very nice.
What a jerk.
What a jerk, yeah. "Stay here until I come back," said the musician, and he went his way. Well, what What a jerk.
He is a jerk.
But after a while, he said to himself again, time is beginning to pass heavily with me, and I am here in the forest. I will call hither another companion. And he took his fiddle and played a tune. It was not long before a fox came creeping through the woods towards him. Ah, there is a fox coming, said the musician. I have no desire for him. The fox came up to him and said, oh, dear musician, how beautifully you do play. I should like to learn that too. That is soon learned, said the musician. You have only to do everything that I bid of you. I mean, I think I know where this is going.
Yeah. I think another cleft and another rock.
All right. Oh, musician, said the fox, I will obey you as a scholar obeys his master. Follow me, said the musician. And when they had walked a little while, they came to a footpath with high bushes on both sides of it. There the musician stopped, and from one side he bent a young hazel down to the ground and put his foot on it. Then he bent down a sapling from the other side as well. Now, little fox, if you will learn something, give me your left forepaw. The fox obeyed, and the musician fastened his paw to the left bough. Little fox, he said, now give me your right paw, and he tied that to the right bough. He made sure they were safely tied, and then he let go. The bushes sprang up, and up jerked the little fox, so that he hung struggling in the air. Wait here until I come back, said the musician, and went on his way. Wow, this guy's a real jerk.
He is.
Okay. Again he found himself. Time is beginning to pass heavily, blah, 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 blah. I will call hither another companion. So he took his fiddle and played a song, blah, blah, blah. Why, here's a hare coming. I don't want her. Of course not. Why would you want a hare? Ah, dear musician, how beautifully you do fiddle. I should like to learn that. And of course, you shall soon learn, blah, blah, blah. Oh, musician, I will obey you as a scholar obeys his master. I'm going to kind of paraphrase at this point because we know what's happening. They went a little way until they came upon an open space in the forest. There stood an aspen. The musician tied a long string around the little hare's neck, and the other end he fastened to the tree. Now briskly little hare, run 20 times around the tree. Okay. Well, the little hare obeyed, and she had run around 20 times, and she was twisted the string 20 times around the trunk of the tree, and the little hare was caught. And let her pull and tug as she liked, it only made the string cut into her tender neck. Wow, this guy's a jerk. Wait here until I come back, said the musician, and he went on his way. The wolf, in the meantime, had pushed and tugged and bitten at the stone until at last he set his feet free and had dragged them out of the cleft. Full of rage and fury, as well he should be, he rushed after the musician, wanting to tear him to pieces. When the fox saw him running past, he began to yelp and howl with all his might. Brother Wolf, come to my help. The musician has betrayed me. So the wolf drew down the little trees, bit the cord in two, and freed the fox, who went on with him to take revenge on the musician. Ah, as well they should. They found the hare tied up too, and delivered her, and then they all sought the enemy together. Ooh. Now once more the musician had played his fiddle, and he went on his way, and this time he had been more fortunate. The sound that reached the ears of a poor woodcutter, who instantly had to give up his work, willy-nilly, and came up with his hatchet under his arm to listen to the musician. At last comes the right companion, said the musician, for I was seeking a human being, not a wild beast. And he began to play so sweetly and enchantingly that the poor man stood there as if bewitched, and his heart leaped with gladness. And as he stood there, the wolf, the fox, and the hare came up, and saw well that they meant no good. So he raised his glittering axe and placed himself before the musician as if to say, whoever wishes to touch him, let him beware, for he will have me to do with. That's a very strange phrase to turn.
Old English.
At that, the frightened beasts ran back into the forest. The musician, however, played once more to the man out of gratitude and then went on. And that's the end of the story. Very strange stories.
That is. I think the moral of this story is
don't be a jerk.
Don't trust jerky fiddle players.
Right? Exactly. Don't
trust them. If you're any kind of furry animal, don't trust jerky fiddle players.
And if you're a furry animal and you hear a fiddle being played, don't go
run the other way.
Yes, go the other way, because they're going to cleft your feet into the holes.
Especially if I'm playing, because I play terribly.
What's that joke? I went to the doctor, had a broken hand. I said, will I ever be able to play the piano? He said, I don't know why not without proper treatment. Oh, good. I've never been able to play before.
For those not in the know, Bearly
Okay,
is
so we're
reaching
gonna play
for
some trivia.
cards. Okay.
And because
I was just letting everybody know that you were bending down and getting cards.
yes, so because you made a MASH reference earlier, we're going to play MASH trivia.
Ooh, fantastic.
This
I might get one or two of them.
You might get one or two of them. I found this in my parents' house a couple of years ago, and it's from, well, shortly after MASH in the late 70s, early 80s.
Yeah.
So, okay. So,
fantastic show.
We'll pick a card here. When Klinger decides to publish a newspaper on base, what does he call it?
Oh my goodness. Well, I know he was from Toledo.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to guess something like the Toledo Times or something.
Nope, he just simply called it MASH Notes. Okay.
Okay.
Fair enough. Hawkeye has a cousin who is the older brother he never had. Do you remember his name?
Ooh, I do not.
Let me jog your memory. I remember this episode. He was having nightmares about him.
I remember the episode, but I cannot remember his name at all.
It was Billy. Because he always woke up, Billy, 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 because he was drowning in the lake. That was the story. Yeah, I remember that.
There were a couple of episodes that were real tearjerkers.
Oh, there was a lot.
Yeah,
there were a lot. That was one of the first. That was one of the things that they got criticized over because they were supposed to be a comedy and they were dealing with real life situations and real life trauma, and they got criticized for not being funny all the time. And Alan Alda said, "It's a movie. It's a show about war. It's not funny."
Yeah. This is set in the Korean War. It's not meant to be funny all the time,
right?
Yeah. There's going to be funny moments in war because that's the way humans are. We tend to try and hide our sadness with with a good laugh. But you can't do a show about a war and make it funny all the time.
No. Okay, when a soldier dies and is brought back to life, who is interested in knowing how it feels to be dead? I remember this episode too. It was a later episode. I mean,
yeah, you would think it would be Mulcahy, but I don't believe it was. I think it was. Was it BJ?
No, it was Charles Emerson Winchester III.
Oh,
yes.
Oh, good old Charles.
Charles.
So far, I'm not doing well.
No,
these are some really deep questions.
I guess what if it came out when the show was still on, it would be fresh in your memory. I mean, you have to go back.
I haven't watched.
Yeah, I
haven't watched the series in its entirety probably in about 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, so. I did that too. I did that about 4 years ago too. I watched everything in its entirety, and I remember this episode too. Name the stripper dancer who took a liking to Colonel Potter during the visit during her USO tour.
Oh my goodness. Oh, it's on the tip of my tongue. Shoot, I cannot think of her name.
It was Brandy Doyle.
Brandy.
Yes, Brandy.
I wanted to say Candy, but I knew that wasn't it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And in that same episode, Colonel Potter talks about as a boy, he would go to a theater in Kansas City and watch the girls dance. What was the name of the theater?
Oh, Kansas City. I honestly don't remember. Honestly, yeah. They got some good questions in this trivia pack.
Yep. It was called the Gaiety Theater.
The Gaiety Theater.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, you wouldn't think girls would be dancing there, but I guess gaiety meant something different back then.
I guess, yes. After his little brother died, who couldn't walk past the empty bedroom without feeling a tingling?
I'm trying to remember whose little brother died.
I have a feeling it was the same episode that dealt with the death.
So we're going to say Hawkeye?
No, it was Winchester again.
Winchester again?
Yeah. That's why he wanted to know. That's why he wanted to know what it felt like to be dead, because his little brother died.
Because his little brother had passed.
His little brother passed, and so he wanted to know what it was like, because I think he wanted to try and get in touch with his little brother. So
God dang it! I'm gonna have to watch these again.
Yeah, I loved that show. That was
Oh, I do too. I bawl like a baby at the last episode.
Mhm.
It hits me super hard.
I will have to tell you, when I rewatched the series from start to end, I would not watch the series finale because
It's hard to watch.
it
It's
was
super
so
hard.
to watch.
Yeah.
And I remember it very clearly, having watched it when it first aired, and I knew that I could not watch it again.
Mhm.
I just knew I couldn't.
It's one of those episodes for those who have not watched MASH. If you're in any way kind of triggered by some really dark mental health problems,
This is
don't
not the
watch the
episode for
last
you.
episode.
No.
It is not. Because it's rough.
It's very rough, very rough. And
Yeah.
plus the fact
I'm getting a little verklempt right now.
Right? Yeah,
just thinking about it.
I can think of all the scenes in this, like,
Oh yeah,
that scene with Hawkeye
Yeah.
when he realizes what was going on. I'm getting all tingly right now.
yeah.
So
I mean, if anything was going to drive somebody like him over the edge,
that was it.
That was it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So,
Yeah.
listeners, if you want to, you can actually watch that last episode standalone because it's a 2-hour finale. I remember.
Oh yeah.
And
it's
yeah.
It's definitely there are some good moments in it. There's some really, positive moments in it, but there's also some very dark moments in it.
Very dark moments. And that
Yeah.
was the episode where most of the main characters had something severely traumatic happen to them
Mm-hmm.
during that whole episode.
yeah.
It was just, that's when Father Mulcahy lost his hearing.
Yep.
That's when, yeah, I mean, all
Yeah,
right.
he'd been trying to hide it from everybody. It was pretty rough.
It was very rough, very rough.
Yeah.
And then, of course, they tried to do the spin-off called After MASH, which flopped
Big time.
so bad. So bad.
So I've never been to Korea, but I have been to the area they used to film MASH in California.
It's out
So,
in South California. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's like I said, it's a pretty area.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't know.
I've been to Korea, and yes, it is very much like
Yeah.
that area where they
Yeah.
definitely did the shooting. So, anyways. Well, listeners, I told you it was going to be a short episode. We're just about 45 minutes. So,
Yeah.
we're going to wrap this up. And thanks for listening. Even though Taebyn wasn't here, I'm sure that everybody will. Oh, and I have to say this for Taebyn. Time for Jesse for a walk.
Yep. Time for Jesse for a walk.
Time for Jesse for a walk. I promised him that I would say that. Thanks again, Rayne, for sitting in. Thanks to all our listeners.
Of course.
You know by now, listener, if you're listening, that you can help support the show through donations at Ko-Fi, or Coffee, or Patreon. I even spelled it coffee in the note so I would pronounce it that way.
He did.
And
you,
I still
you
said
still went
Ko-Fi.
back to Ko-Fi.
But that's because I was raised in the days of hi-fi, lo-fi. And
Yes,
so
Wi-Fi.
Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
So I see something dash fi. It's fi. It's Ko-Fi, not coffee.
Yeah.
And that's like,
I've been pronouncing it that way too.
and then there's the other one that we don't have, which is Buy Me a Coffee, and that's clearly coffee.
Right.
So anyway, you can subscribe on Buzzsprout if you want. You don't have to, or by Merch Perch at Redbubble, Bonfire, or Fourth Wall. Still haven't sold any stuff, but maybe somebody will buy something at some point. Well, you bought something.
Well, no,
and
I bought something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, so
yeah, maybe we should do a contest and give away a little bit of merch and see if people
maybe
want to get it.
Maybe. Well, and when I'm at cons, I wear the BFF T-shirt. They're like, where'd you get that? It's like,
Yeah,
I
got
it.
asked the same question.
Yeah, it's like,
Yeah.
here's how you get it. You can get it here. Go.
Go spend your money.
Spend your money, please.
Please spend your money.
And you can also, or by simply sharing it with our little show with your friends or enemies, whichever you feel like is best to share our show with. So, Rayne, any final words?
No, not really. Other than be kind to yourself and each other, and don't offer to puppy sit giant monster dogs
Or your ex's pets. Don't volunteer to
or your
sit
ex's
them.
pets.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if he was well behaved, it would be one thing.
Yes. Your ex
He's a
or the dog?
monster. Both.
Both. Yes.
Both are monsters. But yes, but the puppy right now is the the worser of two evils.
The worser of two evils. All right.
Yes.
So until next time, we know you have a choice in podcasts, and we thank you for putting us in your ear holes. Moobarkfluff, and stay furry.
Stay furry, my friends.
Bearly Furcasting is an Injured Nerve studio production and is found on all major podcast platforms or can be heard directly at bearlyfurcasting.com. The opinions expressed here are those of the hosts and their guests, and no commercial compensation was granted. The Furcast is produced, recorded and directed by Bearly Normal, aka Mike Began, and is edited by Bearly and our associate editor Rayne Raccoon. Opening and closing theme music, as well as some interstitial music, was created for Injured Nerves Productions for the use on the podcast by Reg Day with Damian Tanuki. If you would like to hear more music by Reg Day, you can search for Tweezerbeak on Bandcamp or Hoop Loop Tunes on SoundCloud. Other interstitial and background music by Shane Ivers through silvermansound.com, Gator Tots on soundcloud.com, and the YouTube Free is Library. If you would like to send us a message, you can do so via email at bearlyfurcasting@gmail.com or on our Telegram chat at BFFTchat, on Twitter, on our Facebook page, or on the bearlyfurcasting.com webpage. You can help support the show through donations at ko-fi.com/bearlyfurcasting or through Patreon at patreon.com/bearlyfurcasting. Thanks for listening. We hope you come back and listen next week.